Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc Schlock, where it's a review of the movie Final Destination 2. He may not be able to cheat death twice, but doesn't mean it's going to make for a good sequel. Well, it would seem that the only survivor from Part 1, Claire Rivers, returns for this sequel. And, what's his name from Part 1? I don't remember. Well, he's played by Devon Sawa. When they announced his death, I couldn't help but laugh. He was killed by a falling brick. You know, if he'd hung out with Wile E. Coyote, he probably would have survived that somehow. But, on to our review of Final Destination 2. And this one is about a woman named Kimberly, who's planning on going to spring break with her friends. But, as you know, stuff happens. She has a premonition of something bad happening on the freeway, but instead of killing a bunch of other people, it turns out her friends get killed. So she teams up with a bunch of survivors along the highway, and bad stuff happens, as you probably know. Oh, there are some pretty gruesome deaths in this one. Oh, man, yikes. I mean, the deaths in this one were a bit more gory and crazy than in the first one. But Kimberly teams up with a deputy marshal named Thomas to try to figure out how to defeat Death's plan. And when it seems like they have everything all figured out, you know, Kimberly tries to commit suicide. And they find out there's a pregnant woman also. Turns out the woman delivers her baby and everything's cool. And Kimberly's suicide attempt did not quite work out. And in the end, there's this young boy that they save who was supposed to have been killed. But instead, when Kimberly and Thomas are invited to the boy's family's farm to have a little barbecue, well, everything goes wrong. And we're left with something put on the old dinner table that they weren't quite expecting. Memories of this movie. You know, I really wish I could have played some of the gruesome death scenes for this video, but unfortunately, due to third-party content, I can't do that. But I have the next best thing, at least some of the sounds from the movie, or at least somewhat the sounds from the movie, of a lot of what happened in it, just in case you might have missed it. The logs falling off the truck, causing all that trouble. Oh yeah, car crash. Whew, that was bad, pretty bad. Yep, we have the apartment going up in flames. Again. One more time. There we go. Maybe one more? No. The pigeons. You probably remember the pigeons. Seemed like the pigeons were going to be somewhat of a... But then that happened. Oh, man. Do we have any more? The elevator. That was a weird death scene. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we got a little more. Airbag, yes. That one was pretty extreme. Barbed wire. Kimberly trying to drown herself. And finally, the barbecue explosion. Didn't really like this sequel very much because I don't know, a lot of the deaths in this movie were not all that great, and it just seemed like that. In the first one is awesome. It seemed like everything was accidental, but in this one, it just seemed like they were just, I don't know. As the series went on, it just seemed like I was getting more and more worn out and tired of the same old plot. So, yeah, I just did not care for the sequel, and yeah. But there you guys have it. Final Destination 2. Cannot believe they killed Claire in this movie, and they couldn't get the guy who had a brick fall on his face. But if you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. And if you have a horror, sci-fi horror, comedy horror, or fantasy horror movie that made you look over your shoulder for about a few weeks, send it my way and I'll get on it ASAP. Thank you so very, very much for watching. And until next time, for Doc Schlock, watch out. And always stay strong and rock on.